Hello, aloha from Florida. My name is Keith Cameron Smith, for those of you who don't know me. But first things first, you never step on another man's stage or platform without acknowledging them and saying thank you. So, Greg, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the invitation to be here and share our perspective of the earth, our perspective of creation. I know that Dean and David and Austin and Dean's PhD friend and Tim, I know they will do a great job representing our observable reality. So I'm not going to get deep into the proofs for flat earth, the many, many thousands of them. I'm just going to share my testimony, my experience of how I got into flat earth and my journey over the last about 7 years now. It started for me in 2017. A Navy pilot came into my place of business, and through the sales process and building rapport and asking him questions about himself, he told me that he had been flying in the Navy for 5 years in Antarctica. And I said, you probably have some stories you could tell, huh? And he said, you have no idea, and kind of smirked at me. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'll just tell you that Antarctica is not what they teach you it is in school. It's not an ice continent on the bottom of a ball. So that sparked a very interesting conversation, a conversation that actually changed the course of my life. I went to YouTube, which is where he told me to go look. In 2017, you could find a lot of good things. You could find a lot of good channels, content creators for Flat Earth. Today, the algorithm has changed. You have to know exactly where to go look. I'm going to give you some places to go look. You have to type it in exactly, and then you have to click on videos to see all that content creator has. So the idea that the earth being flat was new to me. Here I am, my whole life. At the time, I guess I was 46 years old or so. I'm 52 now. And I thought, really? The earth can't be flat. There's no way. So I started looking into it. I watched some of the documentaries from back then, like ODD TV and Sean Hibbler and the Truth Does Not Fear Investigation, Part 1 and Part 2. Those are excellent. But I said, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? You know, it's totally normal, totally typical to have a whole bunch of questions when you first hear that the earth might be flat and stationary. So I went and I listened to all of the overpaid pseudoscience priests like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brian Cox and Michelle Thaler and different people that are pumped up and promoted by the algorithms to try to keep people away from flat earth and tell everybody that flat earth is just stupid and archaic and blah, 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 blah. I listened to all of them, all the big ones anyway. And after a while, it became obvious. It became crystal clear that what they were claiming had zero evidence in reality. Claims without evidence. That is the pseudoscience community of today. If you believe the earth is a spinning wet rock in outer space, after almost 7 years of research personally and teaching this for the last 4 or 5 years now, the only thing you have is blind faith in pseudoscience nonsense. You don't have even 1 ounce of empirical, observable, measurable, repeatable evidence for the globe. It doesn't exist. The heliocentric hypothesis is a scientific absurdity. So my research led me to other people like David Weiss, and oh man, some of the podcasts you did back then, David. You're a patient man. I don't know that I could put up with some of those globe trolls like you did, but they were educational for me. Another one was Ben of Taboo Conspiracy. You know, it's weird because Ben has a Juris Doctorate and 2 master's degrees. Another person I learned from was Eddie Alencar of the Flat Earth Banjo USA Japan channel. He's also the author of 16 emergency landings proving flat earth. He has a master's degree in emergency management and all the things he had to learn and study to get that master's degree. You know, this accusation that flat earthers are stupid and broke and live in their mama's basement, it's the opposite. Just like the earth is not spinning and it's not curved, the opposite is it's flat and it's stationary. This accusation that flat earthers are stupid is the opposite. Flat earthers are some of the most intelligent, smart, independent, critical thinking people I have ever met. I'm one of them. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm certainly not stupid. I'm an author. I have books by major publishing companies selling in many countries and languages around the world. I used to travel and fly almost every week somewhere teaching at a business event or a church. I've been in many churches, even churches like Greg's. But I gave all that up. 2017, my wife and I had more and more children. I've been married 25 years now. My wife and I have 7 children together, and we're busy working and paying for their food and their clothes and their shelter, which they live in a really nice place. But I gave all that up and I just started working and raising my family. And then flat earth hit me. I mean, we call it being flat smacked sometimes. It hit me. It smacked me upside the head. And that conversation with that Navy pilot really did change the course of my life. And I started learning from these guys. And I recommend those guys I just mentioned to you. If you don't know who they are, check them out. Check out the work, the countless hours of work they put into it. I learned a lot of good things from them. And then, I guess about almost 2 years ago now, I met Vika Drazov. He is the creator and director of the documentary Flatten the Curve, with many commercial and military pilots, as well as other professionals like aeronautical engineers, merchant marines, the guys who navigate submarines, all proving with real-world applications that the Earth is flat and stationary. I started going on Vika's podcast, and after, this was maybe a year and a half ago now, after a few months, Vika said, you know, guys, I got another idea for another documentary. Hey, squirrel. Squirrel. And, you know, that happens down the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole has a lot of rabbit trails, and sometimes you see a squirrel or something else. But anyway, life is good. Vika said, hey, I got this idea for this new documentary. Keith, would you like to be in it? And he told me what it was. I said, yeah, I would love to be in it. So I had gained enough knowledge at that point to communicate clearly that the Earth is an enclosed electrical, topographical, stationary plane. And his idea was for the new documentary. It's called The Mechanical Realm. If you haven't seen it yet, it should be, by the time of this debate, it should be free everywhere. It is about the Antikythera mechanism, this little device, this little machine that is allegedly, according to science, 2,000 years ago. But science is confused. Isn't it funny that they're always caught off guard? They're always surprised. They're always confused. We don't understand. Maybe because your beliefs are wrong. Maybe because your beliefs are blatantly false. But the science community says this little shoebox device, this machine, shouldn't have existed 2,000 years ago. Clockwork devices and intricate gears and pulleys and pins and slots and coaxial shafts, all that didn't exist 2,000 years ago. That didn't come in until the 1400s or 1500s. How did the Greeks have this? I don't know. But if the historical narrative is true, which you'll find out as you research more about reality, you've been lied to about history just as much as you've been lied to about geography and astronomy. So this little device is a geocentric, flat and stationary device, a geocentric, flat and stationary realm machine created allegedly by the Greeks, who shouldn't have had this technology. But not only did they have the technology to build this little shoebox device that you can crank up and you can perfectly watch the movement of the heavenly luminaries above us, they had the software to put into this hardware. They had the knowledge to put into this machine of how everything in the sky above us works and still works today. So that is, the whole documentary is mostly about the Antikythera mechanism. We go into a few other subjects, but check that out. That's part of the learning for everyone who is into the researching reality for yourself instead of trusting the government indoctrination camps. I asked a group that I admin on Facebook. I mean, I admin several different groups and moderate several of them, hundreds of thousands of people. In one of the big groups, I said, hey, what has the knowledge of flat Earth done for you? Would you share that with me? Hundreds and hundreds of answers came in. There were 3 answers that came up repeatedly. They said the knowledge of flat Earth has given them more peace of mind, a greater sense of freedom, and a closer connection to our Creator. When I heard that, I just dove all in even more and said, that's worth promoting, that's worth teaching, that's worth learning about, and I have. Now, there's other things I'm studying now with history and archaeology and the ancient architecture that's everywhere across the surface of our flat and stationary Earth. That's an interesting subject too. But think about those 3 answers. That people who have come to the knowledge, not a belief of maybe, kind of, yeah, maybe the Earth is flat. No, a knowing. Flat Earth is not a belief. Flat Earth is a knowing. Knowing the Earth is flat and stationary gives people more peace of mind, a greater sense of freedom, and a closer connection to our Creator. The truth sets you free. Lies put you into bondage. Truth feeds your faith. Lies feed your fears. Truth creates life, and lies destroy it. The globe is a lie. Flat Earth is truth. The truth of the Bible, the truth of science, of real science, true science, today in this day and age, everything that is truly observable, measurable, and repeatable, all confirms that the Earth is flat and stationary. So for those of you who are new to this, welcome to Flat Earth. For those of you who have been into it a while, keep going, keep questioning everything. Have a good one. Have a great time. God bless.